Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a Friday morning edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Ullman, along with Keith Fustel. Nice nine-race card on the horizon on a Friday afternoon here in Maryland, and it's a good appetizer for tomorrow's program, where we've got two stakes races and two competitive ones at that for Maryland bred or sired performers.
Yeah, the Conniver Stakes and the Not for Love, they're both, really contentious races. I took a quicker glance just before we got back on air to kind of refresh everything. But, the Conniver, calling other plays, been scratched a couple times, turning back in distance. You see that same angle with speediness. A horse, it's, just run lights out every time he hits the track for Ness. So looking forward to those two races tomorrow. We've got really good weather. It's working for us right now. So enjoying the warmth. So, our live crowds have kind of picked up a little bit, and we hope for continued improvement in that department. Keep the crowds coming out. Enjoy this live racing product.
I know we're going to get a crowd on Preakness Day, and Preakness tickets are on sale right now. Preakness.com. It's the 150th edition of the historic Preakness Stakes. Of course, the last Preakness at Pimlico before we take a one-year hiatus here at Laurel Park, and then we get the new Pimlico in 2027. Speaking of Preakness, we're having a Preakness preview day at Laurel Park on Saturday, October the 19th. Not only are there going to be several stakes races, including two win-and-you're-in races. One, the Weber City Miss for the Black-Eyed Susan. Two, the Federico Tessio for the Preakness. But we're going to have a handicapping contest. It's the Preview Day Handicapping Challenge. $500 buy-in, $250 bankroll, $250 to the prize pool. Learn more at laurelpark.com/Preakness Preview Day Handicapping Challenge. By the way, not only do you get cash prizes, Keith, not only do you get two tickets to the Preakness if you win, but you also get berths to the NHC and BCBC. Play online, play here at Laurel Park. Great opportunity.
Absolutely. Those good life-changing moments right there if you could take one of those handicapping contests down. I've never been like a player within the contests. Maybe that's something, as I get a little bit older, maybe a little bit more free time, I can kind of delve into that and join along in the fun. So that's something I definitely would like to get into here in the next couple of years.
You talked about the weather. Things are warming up here in Maryland. Let's take a look at the weather conditions today. The temperature 44. We're going to get up into the mid-50s. The track is fast and it is looking good.
Yeah, and I just took another glance at our handicapping guide. Please go to laurelpark.com. Just tons of useful information on that page, and track biases at the bottom. Go to that. We've looking at everything last couple days, last couple weeks, pretty fair racetracks, but you know what? It's always good to go back and look. You're doing your handicapping, a quick glance. I print out the sheet usually every week when we refresh it to have it at my disposal. So really good information. Please take advantage of it. It's free.
laurelpark.com/picks for the handicapping guide. Let's start things off on our Friday afternoon program with race number 1. We're going 3/4 of a mile. A maiden claimer, 45 down to 36. Maryland bred or sired runners may waive the claiming price. Scratch the 3. Yo, Adrian! That'll leave the 8. Silver Trinket as the 3-2 morning line favorite. This race kicks off the value pick 5. Why value? Because it's the best bet in the business. Look at that low 12% takeout.
Yeah, takeout's been, helping us out a lot, bringing attention to the wager. Our handle has spiked on these early pick 5s. Please join in. It pays this early pick 5 right on out. No carryover with the early value pick 5. I have a $24 ticket for you this afternoon on this good racing card. 7-8 to get you started. We had to do a few changes with some of these scratches. I kind of kicked back on Ness right here, Sassafrasness, and the 8 Silver Trinket. Will she just continue to be a bridesmaid? We're going to find out. Race 2, I take a single with the 5 Crab Cakes and Beer. It's getting to be that time of year. Race 3 with the 2 and the 5. Scratch the 3, Chinny Chin Chin, and the 4, Not So Holy. There's another race where I adjusted. Thanks, Callie, for the wake-up because I had inadvertently put in an incorrect ticket. We're going to go 2-5 in there, maximum speed. If you wanted to add one through the 1 in there, super needy. Race 4, I spread a little bit in here. I do like J.J. Valentin. This race gave me trouble, so scratch the 3, Hot Love. It's a later scratch. I go 1, 2, 5, 6. Dingo Ate Your Baby is a really kind of a question mark horse for me in race 4. Race 5, I'm going to finish things up here with the 3, Papa Funny, the 4, True Faith, and the 6, Sneaking Suspicion. Dr. Kringle's another one I left out. To me, looks like an all or nothing type. If you can afford it, please add. But I'm going to stick with this one to get us started with a $24 early value pick 5 ticket. Again, 12% takeout, 50-cent minimal play.
First horse we're going to talk about in the opener for 3-year-old fillies. We had to change some things on the fly. We like the Brittany first-time starter, Yo Adrian, who's out, so now we'll go with the other first-time starter, the 7, Sassafrasness. Big pedigree.
Big pedigree here. When I see Hardigan, that just jogs the memory banks. They're a really nice horse. 5 for 12, multiple stakes winner in her career. This one is a half to Speediness. We know about Speediness, going to be highlighted there tomorrow in the Conniver Stakes. This mare has had 9 starters, 2-1 at first asking. 3 of them have run second, 6 winning sibs for Sassafrassis. I'll take the shot. This one's ready to go. Unified, okay, about 11-12% with the first-time starters.
Yeah, not only Sassafrassis being a half to Speediness, a half to Starry Moon, who was stakes placed, 90 Buyers speed figure. Royal Number won the career debut, so you got a lot of precocity coming out of this dam, and you've got Jamie Rodriguez and Jamie Ness. Sassafrassis, the 7 figures, to take some money off of the 4-1 morning line with the scratch of Yo Adrian. The number 8 is Silver Trinket, and we have a video spotlight for Silver Trinket's most recent race. Silver Trinket wore a hood for the first time in this race. Kind of odd. We usually don't see Brittany use the hood on horses, and Silver Trinket ran her usual good race. She's hit the board in 3 of 4.
Yeah, she's no uncle. Comes out of this race to win and popped the 53. And a pretty good effort last weekend in the allowance. But yeah, interesting move here with the hood. I thought Willing again, the change of styles with the blinkers coming off. She's become a little bit more of a rateable type to be able to bring a finish. She finished up well. Chris Yen out of that race also came back to post a very good buyer number of 69. Here's a trainer stat for Brittany Russell.
Second time Lasix on dirt, 32% and a positive return on investment. That was a good field that Silver Trinket was in against. The winner came back to place twice in a couple of allowances, 69, 56 buyers. She's obviously the horse to beat, but she's getting a little bit of a reputation as a bridesmaid right now. Let's talk about Mopo, a horse making her second lifetime start. We have a video spotlight of the career debut for Mopo. Mopo is also in this race with Holy Fit. And what did you think of Holy Fit start?
Yeah, Mopo got away a little bit slow, a little bumped at the start, and then Holy Fit broke a little outward and then recovered. And then watch this move. Drops down to the inside with the X-Man and then makes a rushing move through the first opening quarter, 5/16 of a mile. This is an interesting run for Holy Fit. Ends up chasing. But I thought Mopo, all in all, on a track, it kind of favored speed, and we have that noted on our website. Finished up okay, and I thought Holy Fit for that interesting opening quarter, 5/16 of a mile, everything that she went through. I like the mare on the bottom side. Both useful efforts.
Both useful efforts and both really good experience performances. You think about Holy Fit, you're absolutely right. Broke outward, taken inside, getting that slop kicked in the face, still willing to advance on the turn, and hangs in there to finish easily third best. And as for Mopo, sort of in and among horses after that slow start, and then being professional enough to be down on the inside to finish ahead of 3 of these, you could certainly see those 2 horses taking big strides forward, and I wouldn't be surprised if they show a lot more speed this time around.
Exactly. Both of them had an excuse out of the gate. Holy Fit going outward. The bump there for Mopo. Mopo, a family of winners, 8 winning siblings. I expect this one to move up a little bit more. I did like the way that one finished up. Kind of had a little tricky situation into the stretch, altered course, and then kept on willingly. So, yeah, I am 7-8-1-2 in the opener. Before, Ready for Magic.
Ready for Magic, I think, is kind of an interesting horse in here for Tori Alba and Troy Singh. This horse tried a mile in the 16th last time out, just got involved in an early pace battle, and I think that distance at this point in his career with that kind of trip isn't going to work out. Turning back to 6, I think this horse is tactical enough to stay in the mix, may lack some of the upside of the second-time starters, but I think this horse is a little bit better than she looks on paper.
Okay.
7-8-1-4 for me, 7-8-1-2 for Keith. We kicked off the 12% takeout, low takeout in our early value pick 5. Let's move on to race number 2. We're going a mile and a 16th. This race is also for 3-year-olds, which have started for a claiming price of $30,000 or less, and which have never won 2 races. Let's scratch the number 4. Where's My Chew? This race kicks off the 50-cent pick 4. We've got 3 pick 4s today,
Yes.
early, middle, and late.
Early, middle, and late, please. Join along. I like the pick 4s. It's always been one of my favorite plays in racing. Race 2, starter allowance. These are the 3-year-olds, which is started for 30 or less, never won 2. We're going to go a mile and a 16th. Again, scratch Where's My Chew had a really good video. Hopefully this one runs again soon because what a performance Where's My Chew had in debut. We both land on crab cakes and beer. Looks like the race could go through bold diversion if that one breaks, but I like the upside here. Crab cakes and beer is brought for Pecoraro. We've got J-Rod today.
And we also have a trainer stat for crab cakes and beer. Second after 2 to 4 month layoff, 6 for the last 17. 35%, a $2.93 ROI. Crab Cakes and Beer just got hooked up in a little bit of a speed duel, going 2 turns in her first start off of that short layoff, battling outside the 2-to-1 shot that finished third. Didn't change leads in the stretch while in between horses. I wonder if J-Rod will be able to get her to do so here.
And I wonder if he's going to be a little bit aggressive as well in this race. When you really look to the inside, there's not a lot of true speed types. Now, bold diversion had an excuse last time, hit the gate, now stretching out. Might try to go with early, get early position, but you got Forrest who's a little bit patient. So this opening quarter is going to be very interesting. Maybe J-Rod tries to take the initiative, and I thought the horse held quite well despite that trip last time out. And Amy's Music kind of flattered that effort when coming back and running very well the other day.
I think Daddy Yankee's going to try to show a lot of speed from the inside post and just take advantage of that short run to the first turn and the rail. This horse has shown some speed in the past. You mentioned there's not a ton of speed in here. I think Daddy Yankee's going to be aggressive. We'll see if he's good enough for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. You mentioned bold diversion. This horse couldn't get forward last time out because the horse just didn't break very well, going 3/4 of a mile. Very late to change leads, but was second to the pace-setting chalk. So the horse got wired in a slow-paced race, stretching out in distance here from an outside post. I think bold diversion has the body type and the pedigree to handle this distance.
Yeah, we see Diva Meg bottom side, and you're thinking Bondiva, the sprints and everything, but that mare was okay going a little bit longer on the grass with Diva Meg. Blofeld, he's above 20% with the dirt router. So I think it's a little encouraging there, even from a breeding standpoint. You know the initials with Bondiva, that bold diversion can handle the stretch out. I thought got a great ride by Forrest after the adversity out of the gate when hitting the gate to settle and try to make that one grinding run. Was very sharp connections, a big jump up off of the claim as well. They liked what they got here. We're going to go second time for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. We have a stat as well.
That as well for bold,
bold diversion.
Rudy Sanchez.
Or I didn't know.
You did.
You know what? I wrote down a stat.
All right.
244.
You're allowed to do that.
244 ROI, 3-year-old sprinter route. We got so much information going on. I get confused sometimes. It's heck getting old, let me tell you. But that's a good number there for that angle for the 3-year-olds going sprinter route for Rudy.
Let's talk a little bit about Charted Map, the number 3 coming in from Penn National. This is a horse who began his career on turf and synthetic at Woodbine, ran really well around 2 turns in his dirt debut at Penn National. Is there a chance that the 5.5 was just way too sharp, cutting him back from a mile to 5.5, the fact that he had to be hustled up to stay close to the pace? I think this horse is going to appreciate getting out to 2 turns. Maybe he shows some speed.
Yeah, those internals can play a little funky at Penn National sometimes. They 46, that track can play quick is what I'm saying, and it just kind of grabs you. So I was still a little bit surprised that he laid that close last time. Willing enough, I would have liked to see Millibar, who beat him 2 races back, come back to run a little bit better last out.
He's going 5-6-1-3. I'm going 5-6-3-2 in race number 2, the first leg of the early 50-cent pick 4. Let's move on to race number 3. We're going 3/4 of a mile. This is a non-winners of 2 Life Claimer, 12-5 down to 10. Take out the 3, Chinny Tin Tin. Scratch the 4, Not So Holy. That's a big scratch from a pace standpoint because there's a chance now that the 2 Maximus Speed might be able to get right to the front.
Here's one of my favorite angles, outside to inside. It doesn't matter short or long for me. This horse, 7 posts in a field of 8. 4-path turn is the short comment into a 22-2 opening quarter. Was only a length off the lead. We're going second off the claim, a little drop back. They went and go ahead. Let's go ahead and get J-Rod. That's enough to attract me. huge assist here with Chinny Chin Chin and Not So Holy out. I think Maximus Speed is going to be all systems go from the inside, try to clear and keep going.
And the horse that out-sprinted him for the lead last time out was really ready to go
Yes,
and
he was.
sharp. That's the Swift Wild Hunch. Maximus Speed, you mentioned, was wide chasing that horse. All in all, a good effort first off the Mancia Claim, and I think this one's going to the lead. Super Needy is the number 2, and it's going to be up to Super Needy's rider, Kevin Gomez, to try and at least get this guy within hailing range turning into the stretch, because he's more of a closer than anything else, but he did finish ahead of 3 of these rivals in his most recent start. And look at that Beyer 2 starts back. 72. The Beyer par for this level's a 60.
Right. I don't know where that quite came from, but visually it was a very good effort. Bermuda Run has come back to run okay. El Divino Nino came back to win with a good race last time out on the ninth. We have a video spotlight, and we're going to watch this race. It also involves Put the Pass Behind, who I thought, Dan, really had to do the dirty work this particular afternoon, was hustled up and going ahead and chasing that flow.
This is a very hard chase for Put the Pass Behind you. You see down inside, that's the gray horse. Super Needy's going to get into this from the outside in the green cap. Now we turn into the stretch, and it looks like this pace is starting to tire a little bit, but Super Needy's going to come with a run. Look at Put the Pass Behind, just as it looked like he was going to squeeze on through. He got checked, had to get to the outside, and it's really tough to recover when that happens.
That was really, really, really tough there. But I tell you, he kept on with effort, Put the Pass Behind here for Marici. Again, I think he's got a little bit more positional speed. He'll lay close, try to stalk Maximus Speed and continue on from there. It looks like it's going to go through these 3. Is there anybody else you can drum up the heights maybe from off the pace if things really get heated?
I think that's the key. If the pace gets heated, but with this scratch, it's hard to imagine. I thought the heights ran okay 2 starts back when swinging very wide into the stretch and picking up some tired horses. But this is a horse that likes to run second and third and is really at the mercy of pace luck, and I'm just not sure he's going to get it in this spot. Keith's going 2.517. I'm going 2.175. We'll see if we get a down-the-road speed show from the number 2 in race number 3. Let's move on to race number 4. We're going 7/8 of a mile. Non-winners a 2-life claimer, quarter down to 20. Let's take out the number 3, Hot Love. The 5, Better Go 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 is your 9-5 morning line favorite. This is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 carryover. We're closing in on 10 G's on the Pick 6, and I know that Brooksy might be getting ready to play.
Brooksy will step in. He's helping the handle. We like that. We've got a hot dog and a soda down at the pizza lady stand, awaiting when he just gets past that plateau, that level. He's got to show us from a handle standpoint. But thanks a lot, Brooksy, for all the play.
We also kick off the 50-cent middle Pick 4 with race number 4. Again, scratch the 3, Hot Love. I want to start with your top selection in here, the number 1, J.J. Valentin. It's Jamie Rodriguez. It's Jamie Ness. This horse was just hung out 4-5 wide last time out, and I think it might have taken the starch out of it.
Yeah, right out of that same race, right? That we had Maximus Speed. And the Wild Hunch race, Rapidity came back to win. Also out of that race was Divine Child, and J.J. Valentine had the jump on that one, but was caught very wide into that quicker flow. I thought this horse would have run a little bit better first off the claim back January 25th, a little flat. Improvement. I like it. I think this horse they're maybe figuring this guy out now, going 3rd off the claim for Ness. Inside speed at the 7/8 doesn't necessarily need the lead, but I like last time was much better for me.
I think there is no speed in this race. I think J-Rod is going to break and send, and that's going to make this horse very dangerous, saving a heck of a lot more ground than last time. I'm worried about him, but Divine Child is a horse that we have as a horse to watch on our handicapping guide. Again, laurelpark.com/picks. I just think this horse has been a little bit unlucky in his last 2 races. 2 starts back, he got bumped at the start, had to ease off the rail, then had to alter course back inside. I thought he ran okay. Last time out, he was urged along, but he got out-sprinted in that Wild Hunch race. I thought he was over and behind horses in the stretch, and then once clear in between, he came with a good gallop out. Am I worried about the lack of pace for him? Yes, I am. I'm hoping at 7/8 of a mile, he has a little bit more time. They'll kick these down.
Yeah, he just might be able to ramp it up soon enough, maybe 3/16 ball, and level off if he gets any help up front. I've got it written right there on my PPs. Victim of flow. Big question mark. I'm not so sure. I went back again and watched the video. I did like the way this horse finished up. Had a little traffic, 8th pole to the wire, was able to find a seam late. Was definitely going better past the wire than J.J. Valentin. But again, I think I'm going to take a horse that's kind of maybe moving a little bit more in the right direction, and a barn that's certainly been rolling. 4 of 8 last week here at Laurel Park was Ness.
Let's talk about the 5. Better go, go, go. 9 to 5 on the morning line, despite the fact 1 for 20, 8 seconds, 6 thirds, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yeah.
But this horse is taking a significant drop in class for Claudio after facing Joe the Jet. That horse came back, ran second for 40 with a 70 Beyer speed figure. This horse has numbers and races, just doesn't like to win.
Yeah, the 3-back try was really, really good against Moscato and just hasn't been able to kind of come back to that. Would not surprise me if they try to send Better Go, Go, Go. Just get him involved early and get his attention. The question mark horse for me is the 6, the Dingo H Baby for Kieran. This horse was entered in the race with rapidity. Rapidity ran well. This one was scratched, comes back. I thought for sure they might hold a level, maybe even attack move. No, we're going to stay here at the 25. I don't know what to make of this horse. Flash some ability early on in his career. Again, a little bit of an all or nothing type for me, but Lopez does stay. An interesting sort here for me.
I like horses cutting back to 7/8. I just wonder if this horse can stay within range. Sprinting for the first time in his career, but Kieran a wizard off the claim. 1-5-2-6 for Keith, 2-1-5-4 for me. 4 down, 4 to go. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the late pick 5. 4 down, 5 to go.
It's okay. It's Friday.
To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness. All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole. American Pharaoh, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths. She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to Today at the Races. I'm Dan. He's Keith. 4 down, 5 to go. We're going to kick off the late value pick 5, 12% takeout. Starting it off with race number 5. We're going a mile and a 16th. Now winners of 2 Life Claimer. This is 12-5 down to 10. We have a field of 7 in here. It is a wide open race. These horses are very evenly matched. This could be a jockey's race. We'll get into that in a bit. But again, it is the first leg of our 50-cent late value pick 5 with carryover potential. Low takeout, 12%. It really is a great wager. It's horse player friendly, and these are competitive races today.
Oh, they are. I've got it in race 5, my comment up top. Not a lot of faith. So it is a spread race, and Mackenzie Pfeiffer has a ticket. It's a $36 ticket. She's got a little faith. She narrowed it down to 2, Sneaking Suspicion, and Dr. Kringle, the 7, who I talked about with Dan earlier in the show. I think this is another one that's all or nothing, Dr. Kringle. Will he go ahead and go from the outside? I'm not so sure. But I think if you can afford to use them, even my later, we talked about in the early pick 5, toss that one in. So she's going to start it out 6 and 7, Sneaking Suspicion. Ran well despite the wide trip last time out. Race 6, 3 deep with the 3, 7, and 8. Kings River, getting there. I think this is the right level. I think you're going to see a better race from Kings River today. Race 7, going to go ahead and single Mad Banker. Maybe thinking what I'm thinking, could go ahead and control the pace in race 7. Furness scratch the 1, Whiskey in the Jarro out of there. Race 8, she's going to go ahead and spread a little bit. 1, 4, 6, and 8. I like this race a lot. The 3-year-olds, first level, optional. And finish it up, race 9 with the 2, the 3, and the 4 for a $36 late value pick 5, 12% takeout, carryover potential.
I do think this is a jockey's race because it's one of several races on today's card that just doesn't feature a ton of early speed.
No.
And our top pick might be up against it a little bit because the 3 Papa Funny doesn't have a lot of early gas.
No, I mean, here's the kicker. Again, jockey's race, will Torreaba go ahead and get aggressive? Will J-Rod, who I think might, from the outside with Dr. Crinkle. Let's look at the video of the 3 Papa's Funny. This was the race back in December on a sloppy sealed track at Penn. And I think what wakes me up is the horse who won the race, Stately Order, you're going to see outside now going to the lead in the pink cap. running a couple respectable tries here,
Yeah.
okay, against OK Field. So even though this horse gets beat, worked out an OK trip, I thought was willing enough to the wire.
Yeah, and also a horse that came out of this race, St. Templar, who finished third. That horse came back, won his very next start with a 59 Beyer speed figure at Penn National. You make a very good point about Stately Order. That horse has performed well here, and this horse never stops trying Papa Funny over a pretty testing wet track. Now, again, the horse hasn't shown a ton of speed in his career. It'll be interesting to see. Does Silent Roar try to go? Does Sneaking Suspicion try to go? Diane Marici does very well with horses coming off 2 to 4 month layoffs on dirt. 6 for the last 17, a $3.20 ROI. So I think this little layoff is going to do Papa Funny some good.
And that was first-time blinkers on the main track last time out. So, and if you look at some of those races on the turf prior, this horse was a bit of a laggard, was well back off of it. A little bit more, attention there through the opening quarter half. I know that internal wasn't blazing, but this race, there's just not a whole lot. It comes in with a sharp half-mile work. Marici horses, when they come in working like that, they usually run well.
Sneaking Suspicion is a good fit at this level. Just finished ahead of 3 of these rivals last time out and really had to give up a lot of ground. 5 wide on the turn. Still got up for second behind the favored gate-to-wire winner. A little bit late to change leads that day. A horse that's only 1 for 22. But it's nice to see the last race showing maybe this one's moving back in the right direction.
Thought for sure he would flatten out there at the long run. At the mile distance here at Laurel Park to that second wire. He did not. He kept on chugging despite being caught 5 wide on a pretty fair racetrack. So, yeah, I've got to bump him up a little bit. I've always thought he's going to be okay if you try to sprint him 5.5 on the grass. But he works. He definitely works against this group.
True Faith, the number 4, another horse that was wired by the favorite last time out. He was chasing last second Louis, and another horse that was forced to go very wide at a key juncture. I had him 6 wide into the stretch, but he rallied belatedly at the end of that race. What's curious to me about True Faith, Keith, is this. Look back at his races last year in the summer. This horse showed sprint speed. Now, he hasn't shown it in his last 3 starts. If he finds it, Dennis Orojo should go.
I went back and looked at this race again this morning, and I might go ahead and update our short comment there. Somebody can remind me, please do. Yes, 6 wide quarter by faith. This horse had a little bump and a little squeeze out of the gate. And the Rojo decided, okay, we're going to settle back, draft back a little bit. Was put to a hustling ride mid-turn, but you're right. Will they look back at the PPs and say, hey, let's go ahead and go in here? This is a really, really tricky race to figure. I think you've got to spread around here. Tepid selection here, the 3 Papa Funny.
Even Restoring Order, a horse who last time out was compromised, slow-paced race. 1-2 around the track. The pace setters went. He was the only one making up any kind of late ground. Maybe he gets close from the advantageous inside post. What a skullbuster race 5 is, the first leg of our late value pick 5. 3, 6, 4, and 2 for Keith. 3, 6, 4, and 5 for me. Let's move on to race number 6. It's a claiming event, and we're going to scratch the number 5 Irish Hero. These are some of the harder knockers on the entire circuit. You got to respect them. 7,500 down to 6,000. Now winners of 1 year. The 7 Group Hug is the 2-to-1 morning line favorite for J. Rod and J. Ness. This is the first leg of our late pick 4 50-cent sequence. If you happen to get knocked out of the pick 5, we hope you're not. But if you are, play the pick 4.
Absolutely. Jump in on this $7,500 condition claimer. And a key scratch in here, which helps my top
Big
selection,
scratch.
is the 5 Irish Hero. This horse is pretty quick. Was going to be 3rd off the break. We'll wait another day for Irish Hero, the Jerry Robb runner. So 3 strikes and I'm out, I guess, with the Wolfman, Dan. I'm going to take another shot. Let's go to the video spotlight because both trips off of the long break have not been good.
No, the Wolfman just hasn't broken very well. Just take a look at this horse getting smashed out of the gate. And we know something about the Wolfman. The Wolfman likes to be forwardly placed. When you get just completely devastated out of the gate like that, now he's pulling.
Yeah.
Because this pace became an accordion. It slowed down,
Yes.
and the Wolfman likes to be close, and he's pulling hard. So not only does he break poorly, but he's expending so much energy pulling in between horses. You can understand completely why there's nothing left in the tank. In my opinion, whenever I see a race like this, I just draw a line through it because the horse was never able to show his true ability.
This horse, when he was right, he was a really, really fast racehorse. He's at 7 now. But I like the draw outside. Gakmakaya we've got riding. We've got Gakmakaya, the owner. I tell you what, got a lot going on here for the Wolfman. A clean break. He may have to deal a little bit with a horse like Pudge Boy Palace, but I think when it gets down to brass tacks, this horse is faster. This horse breaks cleanly. I think he separates from this field around the turn. I'm going to give him one final shot this afternoon. Don't let me down, Wolfman.
I think he has a send in him. I think that he's going to be able to control a moderate pace, and that makes him very, very dangerous. And because of his trouble trips in his last two races, his form is completely dirty, which means you might get a decent price. Big scratch and an interesting play, the 9, the Wolfman. Kings River is a horse I've been chasing for a while. This scratch hurts me while it helps you.
Yes.
Kings River is sort of a late runner, but they're wheeling this horse back on short notice. He's dropping in his class, and he's done well, surprisingly, for a late runner at this distance. He likes this shorter distance. He just couldn't keep up last time out when they went a quick second quarter. I like him at this level. I did find it interesting that Angel Cruz was listed on both Kings River and Lieutenant Brown, and he goes to the Lieutenant.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think Lieutenant Brown is a user. I've got him underneath within my exactas. I even think the race at Charlestown was just fine with that trouble, but needs to pick it up off the recent two-back try at Laurel. But I think the Wolfman can separate. I think a horse like Group Hug, again, is possibly hurt by the scratch of Irish Hero. This is a horse that has done okay going the two-turn at Parks and coming back sprinting in Maryland.
Horses run well in Maryland, does have a lot of seconds and thirds, might be a little bit trip dependent, and figures to take money based on the connections. I'm kind of fading this horse a little bit, and you would use him underneath in single race exotic wagers. Let's talk about Lieutenant Brown. I thought this horse ran really well last time out, wired over a Charlestown strip that can be a little bit speed friendly. Stayed on well for second in between horses.
Yeah, it stayed on well enough, and I like the comment up there from Matt Fisher. He's doing the notes now. Steady, box, game, try, back numbers. Might be a little inflated when you look at the Charlestown, but enough against this group. There's not a lot of consistency here in race 6. I'm hoping for the clean trip from the outside for the Wolfman.
I do wonder if 6 is a little bit short for the Lieutenant, though. He's usually going 7, and that's 2 turns at Charlestown. 9-7-3-8. Keith's going with the Wolfman. 3-7-6-8 for me in race number 6. Let's move on to the 7th. We're going a mile and a 16. This is a number of 3-life claimer. 25 down to 20. Scratch Whiskey in the Jarro. We'll see him later this weekend. Penny Loafer, the 4, is the 7-5 morning line favorite, but I want to talk about your top selection and Mackenzie Single in her late value pick 5, and that is the main speed in this race, Mad Banker. We have a video spotlight, and this is what Mad Banker can do when he gets to the lead. He's pretty game.
I've got down there in my long comment, I believe, in the footnote, tenacious, and he gets hooked by the Joe the Jet, and they're all out through this stretch battle, and Mad Banker is going to be able to kind of, with that little drift, dig in and prevail by a head. But I see him as – now, granted, these internals were not super demanding over this track on February the 16th. But, again, second off the claim, the confidence booster off the wind, now stretching out to the two turns. I think he's got every right to move up even a little bit more in this nest barn and control things up top. Here's your stat.
Specific stat. Last out winner, third off layoffs between 6 months and a year. 4 for the last 10, a 230 ROI. This horse is sharp. This horse is the main speed. You saw that race, though. There was no closing going on. They ran 1-2 all the way around the track. Now, maybe this horse will just get a similar situation where he's loose on the lead. He might actually offer a good price because Penny Loafer, considering some of the buyer's speed figures this horse has earned recently, is going to take money. Now, he was wired by an odds-on favorite last time out over a muddy track that we have on the guide as speed favoring. I thought he was placed on a hard chase in the stretch. I didn't like that he didn't change leads. That's something that's not Penny Loafer, and it's something that we should be keeping an eye on today. But he's done it in the past. Maybe the wet track that day kind of worked against him.
Yeah, and is this a situation where Mad Banker, if you're betting Mad Banker, then do you want to kind of try to throw the knockout punch a little bit earlier and have a horse like Penny Loafer try to chase a little sooner to make that run flattening out? Because if you slow it down a little bit and you let Penny Loafer dog
he might be the better closer.
You could be in trouble. And this is a huge, huge class drop to me for Penny Loafer. This horse is back in the right condition. No spring laws, no boss logic. I mean, these are much tougher individuals that he's faced the last couple races. So if he's allowed to stay close, that could spell really doom for Mad Banker.
I'm a fan of the 7 run for your life. I'm not a fan of the way this sets up for him because he's a true 1-run closer.
Right.
And he faced a good field last time out. I think Capcom came out of that race to win his very next start with an 80 buyer and a first level allowance. But this horse's lack of speed could work against him.
No, it could. I mean, you look at the 3-back, 4-back numbers. They're there. He's got that ability to range up and make a move. But he's got to get involved, I think, by the quarter pole.
4753 for me, 5476 for Keith. Max got Mad Banker as a
Yes.
single in the late pick 5, and we'll see if Mad Banker can go wire to window. Let's move on to race number 8. It's the first leg of the late double, 5.5 furlongs. This is our feature. 3-year-olds, non-winners of one other than 62,005 down to 50,000, claiming option. Take out the 7, lose birthday. We'll see him later today. The horse they're all going to have to beat is Slam Notion. We'll get to him in a minute.
Okay.
I want to talk about your pick because
Yeah.
I like this horse. The 6, Faster
Okay.
Gator. I like him so much, I don't have him in my top 4. People are going to look at that race and say, oh, 59 buyer, it's light. Keep in mind, that's a 59 buyer for a June 2-year-old.
You got it. Yeah, that was big. I thought the field was good. You had a couple of horses come back out of there and win. It was a deeper field. Tojo Mojo, I think, beat. I think he came back and beat Saxton. Or no, not Saxton. Oh, what's the gray horse? Fire Pit. I think he might have beaten Fire Pit.
And he
Anyhow,
did so with the
when
67 buyer.
when you're keying up the horses out of that
4
Faster
next out
Gator,
winners.
4 next out winners. I've got that written down here. And you got a little late change of heart here. This horse is now not in for the tag. We've got late. We just got it 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Blinkers going on, Faster Gator. So there's a lot of intrigue with this guy here
It's
for
nice to know
Ferry.
these things
But I'd say,
early.
yeah, but I mean, a bigger field. It was a 9-horse field. This horse was dogged a little bit around the turn, kicked away. This horse ran really like a mature racehorse, believe it or not, in that 2-year-old to be. Where has he been? I don't know. But I tell you what, Lou's birthday, some speed to the outside is out. Boca Chica, he's going to go gunning, I think, in here.
I think he's going to go gunning. I think he's the main speed, and with all the changes you mentioned, I have to throw him into any kind of my wagers. Now, they did enter him on September 24th at
Right.
Thistledown. He was scratched. They gave him time. He's coming off the layoff. He's a fast horse, and he showed ability as a 2-year-old. The horse to beat, though, however, is Slam Notion, a horse that's run so well in his last 2 races. 2 starts back, he tried very hard when wired by a sharp horse in Chipotle, and then this race, you could argue, he was the best. We have a video spotlight for Slam Notion, who's sitting in second position right now, and he's getting ready to go on the attack, and just things don't go right for him the last 5/16.
No, and Saxton's he's an okay horse there for Lynch. Was able to get away with 23-1, and the real running starts, leaving the 3/8 here to the quarter pole, and they're going to go head and head. But unfortunately, Slam Notion, Toriaba, he's going to try to go to the stick here in mid-stretch. There it goes. Unfortunately, it went flying. Actually, it's maybe a nose in front there in mid-stretch, but just can't quite seal the deal. Saxton, very, very tough down to the inside. Is going to win this one by a nostril. Look at this.
By a
beat.
dirty bob.
Ooh,
that is
a
right there.
bobber.
Listen, he's a good horse, the horse that beat him. When you drop the whip, it might have cost you a half length. But at the end of the day, Slam Notion's the horse to beat based on figures. We saw Change My World in that race get up for third. I was a little disappointed by that performance. He sort of worked out an in-out trip and just couldn't run with Slam Notion. So he simply has to improve. I wonder if this pace gets a little bit heated if someone tries to go after Faster Gator. I liked what I saw from Change My World 2 starts back. I think he's going to kick, and I think he'll be a price.
Yeah, and I think he's a horse even down the road. Don't be surprised if this horse doesn't take to the turf, or even a little bit of a stretch out here for Mary Epler, who's done great work year in and year out, a long time here in Maryland. But Change My World, right? I think that opening quarter, 23-1, was just enough where it was up against it from there. You saw how they separated those two around the turn, the top two, Saxon and Slam Notion. If things get a little bit more heated, once that 22-2, 22-3 opening quarter, I think that's going to bode well for Change My World, who'll come running today.
There is only one 2-time winner in this field, however, and that's the number 4, Little Bit Risky. Little Bit Risky, we do have a trainer stat for Kieran McGee. Last out winners, second off the claim on dirt. He claims them, they win, they stay good. 15 for the last 39, a $2.40 ROI. My only concern with Little Bit Risky's last race was this. This horse had a second quarter mile in 24 seconds flat and was loose on the lead. That's what's known as getting a big breather, and you're supposed to sprint on home and beat claimers that day. With Faster Gator in this race, don't you think a little bit risky? Either A, has to go a lot faster to make the front, or B, rate and win something he's never done.
Yeah, and the two-back try, you still leaves you with some concern. Hesitated at the break. Didn't break super sharp last time. Was able to find a seam down to the inside to accelerate, get the lead, and then throttle it down, and then have plenty left through the final 3/16 of a mile. Break is the key for a little bit risky, because I don't know if he's going to have as easy as he did last time here through that opening quarter. He got lucky. He got that seam inside. Now that you're in between horses, Toledo, you got to be tied on and come away cleanly.
Faster Gator, your pick off the bench, 6.851. I'll go 5.842. Really good feature this afternoon. Let's close things out. Race number 9, 7/8 of a mile. Maiden Claimer, 25 down to 20. Maryland Bred's eligible for the 30. Number 1, Uncle Gray. Jockey change, Gene Briseno. 3-2 on the 3, Key Stat. Key Stat is going to be tough in here simply because he has speed, but you're getting to the point with a horse like Key Stat. 8 starts, 5 seconds. Does he really want to win? I think he's got to go.
And 7/8 is an interesting distance, and he's coming back quick. Okay, we just saw this horse run at Penn National, slammed the brake, had some other adversity to finish up well. So he's got the proven positional speed. Can he bring that finish at 7/8? And going to be an awfully, awfully short number in the nightcap with J-Rod. I go to the outside again. I like States United a lot in here. We're going to go first off the claim. Hasn't been seen since July, but a couple changes, things I like. It's going to be first time blinkers on the main track, first time Lasix on the main track. This is a horse that's full to a graded stakes type in Kinetic Sky, a horse that's run upwards almost close to 199 buyer. That one topped out at okay back numbers against okay horses in New York. Protected wave here for Kieran.
Very
they're
interesting.
telling me I think we're sitting on a decent return for States United to go ahead and prompt the pace.
And the dirt races were not bad at all. This horse was running in New York for Dutrow back then. The last time he raced in New York, he faced a horse named Cool Operator. That horse came back and won with an 81 buyer speed figure. States United, very interesting to say the least. 3, 2, 6, and 4 for me. Tell him I'm coming.
Yeah.
Looks like a private purchase. This horse shows up at Oaklawn last time out in a 2-turn route and just fell so far behind. This is a better class level for sure.
Yeah, he's 0 for 17, but you look at he's got a 71 on the page and beat a Canterbury on a muddy track. Just pay attention when these horses come in out of no man's land and they land in Corrales' barn.
From a figure
Pay
standpoint,
attention. Wanted
this
J-Rod
horse
early.
fits.
Yeah, you got Torrealba, so no slouch there. Just an interesting score just sliding in here from Oaklawn.
3-2-6-4 for me. 6-3-2-5 for Keith in the finale. Keith, best play
Yes.
time. Where are you going?
Best play time. I'm going to go to the Wolfman. I think this horse at a 6-1 morning line might come down now a little bit because of that scratch. The speed guys are going to say, hey, this guy's going to get the outside post. He should have a clear run. He's faster than these. Let's go clear around the turn and keep on going.
I'll go with our Laurel Park handicapping guide, Horse to Watch horse. That's Divine Child in race number 4. Going to have to stay close. The pace isn't exactly strong, but just think this guy's been a little bit unlucky in his last 2 races. 9 on today's card. First post time, 12:10. Callie Francois, Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Dave Rodman will take you through the afternoon. Let's go up to Dave Rodman for scratches and changes.
Good luck, everybody.